Sometimes, in the fall, a ghostly mist creeps in from the sea. To hang like a veil over the forest. The ground crunches underfoot, and the leaves are silvered with frost. The sun is weak now. It struggles to break through the clouds. And slowly, daylight floods the Newfoundland wilderness. Fall is mating time for moose and caribou. It has to be, for the young must be born in spring, not winter. The moose are now in their prime. Antlers hard, coats full and glossy. The air is crisp and cool. Forest, bog and barren, all ablaze in color. Fall has come to the moose country. On the farm, it's harvest time. The soil is fat with vegetables. Farmers everywhere rush to get their crops out of the ground. We watched Bernard Tucker plow this land in the spring. We went back to see if nature had been kind.
It's been a rather slack year, isn't it? We wouldn't call it a good yield or a good harvest. It's been some of the crops are very poor because early in the summer when we had all that heavy rain, it seems like the soil washed out. And there's no fertilizer or anything left in the soil for it to grow on. And the potatoes is fairly good, except for a few wet spots. You can see some of these potatoes now where there's wet, there's no potatoes, but on the higher ground they're okay. It turned out okay in regards to size and numbers and all like that, but the ground is good. But where the water lay on the fields, the seed lot. And I think we're going to have a fairly heavy crop of number one cabbage. Last year we had a heavy crop of cabbage, but it wasn't number one because a lot of it was too big for supermarkets and that it was coleslaw cabbage. But this year, I'd say we're going to have 80% or 90% is going to be can of number one cabbage. It'll be anywhere from 3 pounds, no, 2.5 to 4 pounds, say at the most.
So it's not all bad news, for sure?
No, not all bad news. Next year could be better. Every year differs. You don't see a complete failure when you diversify your crops a bit. If we had some livestock too now, it probably would help, but livestock and vegetables don't mix. The moose is bad enough here. You got plenty of moose here tracking around over the vegetables, eating them up, so I guess if I had a few cows along with that, I'd have a job saved. It'd be a full-time job putting up fences.
A sign of fall, to be sure, but nurseryman Bob Stria, who was surrounded by flowers in the spring, has called it quits for the year. Bob, you still got a few flowers inside, but I guess they won't last long now, will they?
Still a few around, Dave, but all we need is one hard frost, and everything will be black again in the morning.
So it's the end of the year for Bob Stria?
No, it's all wound down.
Yeah.
Nothing left now.
A good year?
Pretty good. I'll be back again next spring.
Crops coming out of the ground, nurseries closed for the year. It seems for those who work the soil, the year is over. But what about those who farm the sea? Well, from the looks of the waves crashing in here at Musgrave Harbour, it could be all over here too. It's a rough shore here on the bulge between Bonavista and Notre Dame Bays. Good fishing grounds nearby, but it's not a place where you can count on getting out in boat late in the fall. The fishery is over. Soon the longliners will be taken from the water and tucked away for winter on the Marine Service Centre. For now, they just lurch about on the restless sea. Among them, the Molly Bee, the pride and joy of the Molan boys. Molly, after her first season in the water, is a bit bewhiskered. Jack, the last time we were in Musgrave Harbour, you had a new boat. She's not new anymore.
No. Well, that's what it is when it's a work boat. You gotta, when you make a dollar, you can't spare it, I guess.
But she's still in good shape, of course, but you can tell she's been worked this summer,
can't yes. You? Chafed out a bit. You know, pretty rough water here and there.
But you're pleased you made the investment now, you and your brothers, in that new vessel?
Yeah, I'm pleased with me boat.
Yeah. Why is it an advantage to you? Is she bigger, more comfortable?
Yeah, well, when we started first, we only had a few nets, and we invested in more and more and more, so we had to get a bigger boat to handle the gear, right? We couldn't bring the fish that we was getting in the other boat, so we had to get a bigger boat to make it more comfortable.
Well, what about the cod fishery? That was pretty good here.
The cod fishery is pretty good, yeah. Yeah, I say in cod traps it was really good. Gunnets was pretty good too, eh?
So you had a pretty good season in your new boat.
Oh yes, I enjoyed her.
So all told, a pretty good year for the Moulton brothers.
Oh yes, Mullen boys done good.
We travelled west to White Bay to find a sea of glass.
No.
It was hard to believe that November was just a few days away. But it wasn't just the weather that was remarkable. The fish were plentiful too. Right in here on the inshore grounds, we found Alan Small and Pastor Primer out hauling some lines of trawl.
I say it was a good year, you know.
Good year for the gill nets.
Yeah, there wasn't much fish out in the deeper water, but in around there on the ground, eh? Like 30, 40 film, 50 film like that. There's a lot of fish. Much the same kind of fish we got here, this big fish, eh? Who's coming now, what?
Another one?
Don't think the green piece not there. Stabbing them like that. See, to get the hook out of one, see, you got to put the gaff down there, right?
Right, yeah.
Give them a little.
Little nod.
I can't do it as good as that. I tried, but
Bastards not caught on to it yet, so.
I watches and observes. If you don't stab it,
Just trying to start off. Yeah, some days it's hard going, but more days is good like this. That's how fishing is, see? If you got to give up on this blowy days, you get discouraged. You can't get like that. You got to be optimistic, isn't it? I suppose it's very good for a fella got no fingers, why don't? Two gone on that one and one gone on that end.
Yes, sir. Did you lose these fishing?
No. Done that in the sawmill.
Oh. But you like trawling, that's your favourite way, is it?
Yeah. Yes. I always look forward to after giving up with the long liner, right? Going out and getting some fish on the trawls.
And I guess that's the fish you put away for the winter yourself.
Oh yes. I like salt fish, but I'm not a real lover of it, but there's no trouble to sell it. But last year, see, there was no fish on the last of it. You wouldn't get, I had 5 trawls out one day and I only got about 6 fish. You can't put the trawl everywhere and get fish. You got to have them on the right place. We're going to do it today, though, boy. We'll make the cash today, bastard. The best I like is looking down at it. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Huh?
And there they were, a long lineup of fish waiting to come aboard. These are the days that fishermen dream of. And this is Wild Cove in White Bay, a place we'd visited in the spring when the Arctic drift ice choked the harbour and kept boats from getting out after the seals. Since then, the fishing season had come and gone. Lobsters, capelin, cod, flounder, herring, crab, mackerel, they'd had their share, and for most, the fishery was over. Fish plant manager Randolph Small. So, all told, it was a pretty good year here in Wild Cove.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I don't think there's going to be anybody hungry here this winter. Everybody got their unemployment stamps, and the capelin fish was pretty good, and cod fish was good there in July. And then the supplementary crab fishermen, they got a few crab there. It was pretty good. And all in all, it's been a very good season.
Randolph, tell me about who you've got working in the plant now. Do they all come from Wild Cove?
No, we got so many people from outside the area. We got 5 or 6 people from Mings Bight, and 3 or 4 people from Seal Cove, a couple from Bay Vert. So all in all, now we got 35 altogether in the plant. We got to call in people from outside to get enough to fill the job. So.
They tell me you put up a good product in there too.
Oh yeah, we certainly put up a good product. It's no trouble to get the protein from our fish. We got good fish.
The fish look really thick. The fillets are really thick. Is that because it's this time of year?
Yeah, that's this time of the year. The fish get fatter in the fall of the year, and there's really good fish. It really thickens up in the fall.
After today, fishermen will have to salt their catch, for this is the closing day for the Wild Cove plant. They've all gathered together in the lunchroom for the last meal together. Everyone brought something special. According to Francis Small, it's a kind of regular end-of-year tradition, a kind of Thanksgiving. Do you have this meal every year? Do you have this meal every year?
Oh yeah, last year we had, the year before last we had a big cooked meal.
Yeah.
Last year we just...
So this is the last time you're all together?
Right.
For the whole year?
See, yeah. So the crowd from Seacove and the crowd from Mings, and a couple of us was always at our lunch here, so yesterday we decided on this that we'd... So our manager, he came in and he said, well, you know you're going to have a feed on the last day.
And so the season ended in Wild Cove. A good year, a productive year. Though prices for cod and some other species were down, others were up, and there were lots of fish. And that makes all the difference. This is Lady Philpott II. When last I'd seen her, she was still up in slings. Owner and skipper Woody Philpott had just bought her and was fitting out for Labrador. The past summer, the Lady Philpott has been ferrying fish from Punchbowl. Now the northern fishery is drawn to a close. A slack time now for the lady, but she'd serve Woody well all year. He's one proud skipper.
After being out of it for a few years and get back, I feel real good about it. We had a good season weather-wise, and I suppose we can say we had a good season money-wise and trouble-wise. Put it all together, yeah, it's perfect. I don't see where we could have done much better.
The Lady Philpott will probably be remembered by her original name, the Ambrose Foot. You'd hardly recognize her now, though, for the Philpotts have given her quite a facelift.
Go for it. There we are, boy, the moose. Gotta get me moose, boy.
Life is full of surprises. Chicken and roast beef at the fish plant back in Wild Cove, and now on board a fish collector, a feed of moose. But oh, what a feed. Woody and I chatted about his early days as a fisherman and as a union organizer, and about his time as skipper of the Pistolet Bay. Now he's back in his own boat again, and it's a good feeling. He's happy with his first year. He's happy with the way the Lady Philpott has treated him.
No complaints. I think she's good. She's sturdy and tight and good seaboat. Did a good job for me. Did a nice job for my bank account. At least I can look at the bank manager now.
Not everyone has had a pleasant time of it this year, though. Out here in Trout River, it was the worst fishery in memory. At least it was for the small boat fishermen. A few older men were baiting a halibut trawl. Some of the younger fellows were out on the water picking away at the fishery, but for most, it was a lost cause. Miserable landings had made them take up their nets. When we spoke to Darrell Brake in May, those nets had been plagued with seals.
I guess it was around about the middle of July that most of them were gone. We were still getting a few, like, off and on. It wasn't that bad after that. Worst was over, I think.
Now after that, what happened? Lots of fish?
Nothing at all. Big boats got a bit, like, way outside, and, well, most was flounder. Got most flounder, and not much to the codfish. Fellas been there with trawls, they never got nothing on trawls, no big amount. And, well, that's the only thing, so small boats haven't got nothing. But then, I don't know how they survived.
We watched the boats come and go, small speedboats and flats, venturing far out in the Gulf in search of fish. They go as far as they can. But when the fish aren't there, when your fuel bill practically equals the value of your catch, what can you do? How bad is it out there? I mean, if you go out fishing, how much would you get in a day, say?
Well, now,
Yeah.
price a good couple £100 all day. And that's nothing. And some days we get none. It's not easy.
No, Tom Crockerton went down on Greenpoint Bank yesterday, and he got 130 odd pound. He told me he didn't think ever he was going to reach the shore. It was that bad. Southerly winds. He didn't think ever he was going to reach.
Now, some of your boys now are working in the woods, are they? And
That's my grandchildren, eh?
In the make work programs, is
Oh,
it?
yeah. Yeah, that's Wade Barnes.
They're cutting wood.
And they're now at this program here.
Yeah. I suppose that's all people can do, that or go
That's
away.
right.
Well, that's all they can do, and now something goes and they're not content away. They're up there and they don't want to be up there.
They give
Well,
them
what
that
can
see
they
where
do?
they get their stamps, eh?
Yeah.
Put them in the woods so they get their stamps, £100 stamp.
Right.
Some got 5, some got 6, some got more.
Yes, it's not only here.
No, and I think the place is worse off than here too, from what I've
Yes,
heard.
sir.
Some
Now,
places
Cardinal reports say it was
It's
bad.
all along the coast, my son. Newfoundland, I guess.
That was Gilbert Crocker and Dulcie White.
Never ever fail.
Troubling times for many a family on the west and south coasts this year. Small boat fishermen all along this shore were in desperate straits. Many abandoned the fishery. Many were forced on welfare. Many were forced to leave home to work on the mainland. And here in Trout River, some headed for the mountains. This is a Make Work project, sponsored by the Development Association and the government. Fishermen and women whose earnings were low and who could not qualify for unemployment insurance were hired to go in the forest and cut wood for a new slipway. It's not what they want to do, but it is a way out of a jam for Jim McLean. Jim, you didn't expect to find yourself in the woods this time of year.
No, well, I wasn't really geared up for it because I was expecting to get enough stamps at the fishery, but as it turned out, it didn't.
The fishery was pretty bad in Trout River for you.
Well, it was for a lot of the inshore, for small boat fishery, I guess, fishermen.
Fish didn't come in close to shore at all, where you could get them?
Not very much. It was a little bit. Now we had a couple of tails, and for a couple, 3 days in a row, that was all.
So you just didn't get enough to survive on the winter. You had to turn
No.
to this.
Yeah, we had to turn to this job.
Well, I suppose there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not what you really would like to be doing, is it?
Not really. Well, I suppose it don't make that much difference. As long as you're making $1, don't matter where it's at.
Yeah.
But
Is
we
it-
usually get through with the fishery.
Yeah. It's a bit discouraging for you, I suppose.
Yeah, this is a bit discouraging, right?
And so Jim McLean and 20 or so others from Trout River and Bombay left the fishery and went to work in the woods this fall. Not because they wanted to, they would rather have earned their way as fishermen. However, a job is a job, and this feels a lot better than standing in a welfare line. It's healthy work, it's out of doors, and building a slipway will be doing the community some good. Most figured such projects were worthwhile, but not everyone agreed. This squirrel didn't think much of the Make Work program. There were a few women working on the project too. Their job was to rind the sticks.
Just be splitting fish anyway. I got job push this one. What? Nothing I'm in.
And remember Dulcie, the woman back in Trout River? Well, we found her grandson, Wade Burns, and his friend, Gordon Parsons.
Well,
Wade, you had to leave the fishery this year and come in the woods.
Yeah.
Wasn't much to make on the water, I guess.
No, nothing at all. You squote, remember about half a crate, sometimes 3 or 4 fish.
Yeah.
So.
You burn probably $60, $70 worth of gas, and you get probably $16, $17 worth of fish all day. We were on the end of, going to mainland or going somewhere to get a job, eh? But the government smartened up a little bit somehow and got us give us a break, because most every year if you don't make money, you end up having to go to Ontario and leaving your family behind, which is not very nice. You got your children home here and your wives, and you're up in Ontario working for most of the winter.
That's enough. Yeah? Yeah, I'm not putting them to on. No need. Big long day again tomorrow.
Well, I guess it's obvious that woods work and other such projects are desperate solutions to a serious problem in the fishery. Everyone agrees there's got to be a better way.
Darrell, what do you blame it on, or what do most fishermen here blame it on?
But I don't know, the old people don't even know. Like the older people in the community, they don't know. Well, it's been bad here and over on the East Coast, and the best years they've had in 20 or 30 years.
What about further north on the peninsula? I hear it's pretty bad there too.
Well, but according to the news and what I'm gathering from people up and down the coast, it's totally black down there. They haven't got enough to survive down there. There's a lot of people in hard shape down that way.
Meanwhile, just across the way, over the Long Range Mountains, it's a different story altogether. It's well up in the fall, and you can paddle out in a canoe and make a day's pay. The inshore grounds are alive with prime cod. Everyone here in Wild Cove has done well at the fishery all year long. Though the fishery is essentially over now and the plant ready to close, Albert Wells is one of those who just can't stop. Not when there's fish like this on the doorstep.
We didn't have to come in so early. We could have made up a couple thousand, I'd say.
Oh, trawl, is it?
Yeah.
What trawls? You ever see it that good this late in the year?
Pardon?
You ever see it that good this late in the year?
No, I've seen it pretty good, but not this good.
Not enough fish for a good feed on one coast. On another, well, they've never seen it as good. The pride of accomplishment on one shore, a desperate attempt to survive on the other. 1988, an ironic year, a baffling year for the inshore fishermen of Newfoundland.